Yeah. We are letting in the people, and then these are all my students from different parts of the globe, and some from Bangalore and India. All of them are involved in it.
Very good,
If
very
you
good.
can start.
Namaskaram, sir.
At இப்போ என்ன பண்ற கோயிங் லைவ் ஆயாச்சா சரி நீ சதவை சாத்தி விடு I'll uh, I'll do one thing ஆயாச்சா time is it time now to let people
Still have 2 minutes according to Australian time.
Yes.
So
One more.
one.
no can I put it on like yesterday let's go through recording is starting oh 1 minute admitting everyone
Meenal, Aparna.
Should we start? Sadgurave Namaha. My humble namaskars to everyone who is here today. My name is Meenal Shah, and I welcome you all to Darshana, a multifaceted festival hosted by Atmalaya Academy. On the second day of the festival, you will be regaled with various talks, natya, and sangeeta from eminent artists as well as great scholars from all over the world. I now request Dr. Padmaja Suresh, my guru and director of Atmalaya Academy, to say a few words to start today's program.
Satgurave Namaha. Pranams to all the dignitaries assembled on day two of Darshana festival. Yesterday was a fruitful start, an inaugural ceremony followed by a host of speakers and cultural performances. On day two, the day, the Dvitiya Tithi of Navaratri, we are fortunate to have the chief guest, none other than Dr. C.M. Neelakandan, former professor of Shankaracharya Sanskrit University, Kaladi, and academic head, Kerala Kala Mandalam, who has given great service in all fields of learning and the arts, who has been connected with Atmalya in the past as well. Sir, a warm welcome to you. We have Brahmashri R.B. Atreya, who will be speaking about the ritualistic aspect of Navaratri. And then Sri R.S. Bhatt, we have Yashoda Thakur, Sridhar Vasudevan, Sri Rajgopal, Uttara Vijay Raghavan, Dr. Meera, and Vidushi Kanaka Sudhakar. We have Prabhujot Kulkarni, Arti Jagannathan, Dr. Yamuna Devi, several doctorates I may have left out, but that doesn't mean that makes them any less a scholar, because we know that the quest for knowledge is what marks people as special at the feet of goddess Lalitambika. So saying my pranams once again to every one of you. Please enjoy the performances and the talks today. Over to the anchor, Meenal Shah, who is from Nataraja School of Dance in Toronto. My disciples have given great service to Atmalaya, and without them, this would not have been possible. Yesterday we had Chandana Brujesh, assisted by Kavita Nair, Chandana from Melbourne, Kavita from Kolhapur. Today it's Minal, assisted by Vijay Lakshmi Sundararaman from Bengaluru, and the other students who will be leading uh, the coordination activities in the following 2 days. The next weekend will be Aparna Dodumalur from San Francisco, assisted by uh, Anagha Shastri from Bengaluru, and Sandhya Rakshit from Bengaluru, Vaishali Santosh from San Francisco, Dr. Aarti Jagannathan from Bengaluru, and Kritika Ramesh, who has designed and given us such beautiful posters and the invitation cards, and of course, Satvik and Sarvesh from my family here in Bangalore. They've all coordinated and helped with all the technical possibilities for this virtual webinar. Welcome, and please start the proceedings, Minal. Thank you. Unmute yourself, Minal Shah.
We have our chief guest today is Dr. C.M. Neelakandan, sir. We have the most respected and distinguished professor and Sanskrit scholar. He has worked in many esteemed institutions for various decades. He's also served at the Kerala Kalamandalam as their academic director. He has authored and edited over 30 books in various languages. He's the recipient of many state and national level awards and recognition. He also has headed various cultural bodies as well as academic committees and is involved in various academic cataloging of important manuscripts. He presently supervises many MPhil and PhD students. I would welcome you to have a few words on today, sir.
Minal Shah, so Sir was wanting to see some performances first and then come in
Okay.
for his address after the first hour at least. So we proceed with today's first presentation by Brahmashri R.B. Atreyaji. Thank you.
Okay, so I will just like to introduce the performer today. Would be first performer is Brahmar C.R.B. Atreya sir. He's an esteemed scholar who has written various books as well as for Tatvaloka magazines. He's here on this special occasion mainly as he's a great Devi Upasaka and a disciple of Sri Anna from Chennai and has great words of wisdom to share with us today. Can we?
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, Sri Matre Namaha. Worship of the Divine Mother is the main part of Navaratri festival. There are other features like display of little idols of gods and goddesses and various items depicting our culture and arts, popularly known as Gulu, inviting honoring guests, arranging group and individual singing, and other social religious activities. The Gulu is arranged in a layer of several steps. So the idea is that the Guru should give us the feeling that the Lord is manifesting in the entire universe, and all that is available in the universe is a manifestation of the Lord. And we should develop this vision of divinity. The Divine Mother is worshipped in her manifestations as Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. The first 3 days are devoted to Goddess Durga, who does a job of cleansing our minds of all impurities and removing all obstacles. The next 3 days are for the worship of Lakshmi Devi, who does a job of decorating our minds with positive virtues and making them ready to receive the scriptural teaching. The final 3 days are kept for Goddess Saraswati, who will impart the teaching to us to be free from all samsara problems. The 10th and concluding day is known as Vijayadashami, a day of victory when we are free from ignorance, gain knowledge, and become free. Those who are initiated into Sri Vidya will perform Navavarna Puja of Devi Lalita Mahatrasundari during Navaratri also as usual. It's a practice of some devotees to perform Sri Vidya Puja in the forenoon and Durga Navavarna Puja in the evening. There will also be Parayana of portions of Devi Mahatmyam before or after the evening puja. Some devotees will also perform Sri Vidya Homam on the evening of the ninth day. Vijayadashmi is the day of set apart for Guru Puja. The Sri Vidya Navavarna Puja is a form of complete worship of Divine Mother. Acharyas say that the first three Avarna Pujas will bless the devotee with all forms of pleasure and of this and other worlds. The fourth Avarna Puja will bless him with the understanding that material pleasures are not permanent and that one should gain permanent freedom, moksha. And for this, he should approach a spiritual guru for receiving the teaching. Blessed with a guru, the devotee by pujas of his fifth, sixth, and seventh Avarna and eighth Avarna will gain Atmajnana and will enjoy freedom with the ninth Avarna Puja. Lalita Sahasranam Stotra Parayanam is glorified to our tradition and we are asked to do it on a daily basis or at least on spiritual special occasions like Navaratri festival. This is Stotram sung by the eight Vagdevatas. Vashini, Kameshi, Modini, Vimale, Arune, Jaini, Sarveshwari, and Kaulini, as directed by the Divine Mother, right in her presence. This stotram is found in the Brahmanda Puranam in the form of a dialogue between Ayagriva Maharishi and Agastya Maharishi. This stotra Parayanam is held to be sacred and said to confer both material and spiritual benefits of all kinds. Therefore, Lalita Sahasranam Stotra Parayanam is done every day during the Navaratri festival. Hari Om, Sri Mata Namaha.
Namaskaram. Our next speaker is Sri R.S. Bhatt. Sri R.S. Bhatt, a chartered accountant by profession, is a practitioner of Sri Vidya in the tradition of Adi Shankaracharya and Kriya Yoga in the tradition of Paramhans Yogananda, writer of world-famous autobiography of a yogi. He has addressed several national and international seminars on Sri Vidya, Kriya Yoga, and Adi Shankaracharya. Conducted satsangs at Mumbai Center Yogada Satsang Society of India, established by Paramhans Yogananda in 1970. He has also served as an honorary chairman for the same for more than 20 years. Thank you.
My spiritual sisters and brothers, on the holy occasion of Navratri festival, I bow to Divine Mother residing in the heart of every one of you. Ya Devi Sarvabhutesu Matrurupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaha. Paramahansa Yogananda, the author of world-renowned treatise, Autobiography of a Yogi, is considered to be the father of yoga in the West. At the behest of his Guru Swami Sri Yukteswar Giri and Supreme Guru Immortal Mahavatar Babaji, he had gone to America and then traveled all over the world. He stayed in the West for more than 30 years and spread message of yoga as given in the Bhagavad Gita and Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Looking to the vast differences in the culture of East and West, Rudyard Kipling had said, East is East and West is West. Never the twain shall meet, till earth and sky stand. However, Paramahansa proved him wrong. He wrote voluminous commentary on Bhagavad Gita, God Talks with Arjuna, and also wrote voluminous commentary on Bible, Second Coming of Christ. He proved that original yoga teachings given in Gita by Sri Krishna are also contained in Bible, hidden behind ornamental language. The Christ has given yoga teachings, but the most Christian world has not understood them. And lo, today the result is thousands of Paramahamsa's disciples of East and West are doing online meditation together enthusiastically, at least thrice a week, because his teachings are simple yet eternal, applicable to all human beings without differences of caste, creed, gender, or nationality. He teaches that man consists of three aspects: body, mind, and soul. Harmonious development of each of these is required for the realization of eternal joy. His Kriya Yoga teachings cover every aspect of life. For body, he has taught energization exercises, which consist of several exercises combined with yogasanas and pranayams, which help to keep the body energized and healthy. It takes only 15 to 20 minutes to perform all these 38 yogic exercises. They make the body fit for higher sadhana. For mind, he has taught concentration technique, which is based on Ajapa Gayatri described in Hansa Upanishad. This increases efficiency and concentration power of mind. It gives great peace to mind and rest to heart. For soul, he has taught meditation technique based on Laya Yoga described in Nada Bindu and other Upanishads. It gives personal experience of Divine Mother in the form of Anahatanad. Lalita Sahasranam says, Narayani Nadarupa Nama Rupa Vivarjita. It means real form of Narayani or Divine Mother is sound, Nad, which is without any name or form. Of course, the Divine Mother can give darshana in physical form also. Eligible students are further taught Kriya Yoga technique for higher realization. Paramahamsji is Sadguru. Who is Sadguru? Guru established in Sat. Sat is eternal existence, Trikala Badit. He is one of the immortal yogis, nay, avatar, who is guiding and protecting his disciples even today, after leaving the physical body. Our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi has also called him immortal yogi. While releasing a postal stamp on 7th March 2017 in honor of Paramahamsa Yoganandaji and to celebrate centenary of Yogoda Satsang Society of India YSS, established by Paramahamsa in 1917, he quoted Kabirji's Doha, which meant, "We are not coming, we are not going, we are eternal." Our Prime Minister said, our Sadguru Paramahamsa Yoganandaji is such immortal yogi. His disciples consider him as Premavtar, the incarnation of love. The essence of Divine Mother is love. Paramahamsa radiated that love throughout his life. He gave motherly discipline to his disciples. When some disciple complained that he is unworthy of spiritual path, as he has committed some sin, Paramahamsa said, "Don't consider yourself a sinner. That itself is a sin, because you are the child of Divine Mother. She loves you all the time. Do your best to change yourself while praying to her, naughty or good. I am thy child. Come to me." Another aspect of Divine Mother is forgiveness. No matter what mistake a child commits, Mother always forgives. Paramahamsa Yoganandaji was epitome of forgiveness too. Once a disciple committed a grave mistake, so Paramahamsa had to chastise him. So disciple asked him, "But master, will you forgive me?" He replied, "What else can I do?" Such was his forgiveness. His philosophical teachings have universal appeal. He says, in creating this universe, God revealed two aspects, the masculine or fatherly and the feminine or motherly. In nature, you behold the mother aspect of God, full of beauty, gentleness, tenderness, and kindness. And the underlying all this, which is pure consciousness, is the father aspect. He urges the devotees aspiring to have Divine Mother's darshan that, like an insistent child, constantly call to the Divine Mother in the language of your heart until she says, "All right, what is it? What is it you want?" She is so busy with creation that she does not reply at once, but to the naughty child who cries and cries for her, she will come. He has said, the greatest romance is with the infinite. You have no idea how beautiful life can be. Unattracted to the sensory world, the yogi experiences the ever new joy of being. His soul engaged in the union with spirit, he attains indestructible bliss. When you suddenly find Divine Mother everywhere, when she comes and talks with you and guides you, the romance of divine love has just begun. One day before his Mahasamadhi, that is yogi's conscious exit from the body prison, he declared to his chief disciple Dayamata, "Do you know that it is a matter of a few hours before I leave this body?" Dayamata was in tears. She asked, "Master, how we will be able to carry on without you?" He smilingly replied, "Remember, when I have left this world, only love can take my place. Be so drunk with the love of God, night and day, that you won't know anything but God, and give that love to all." He had written beautiful chants in English. You can say they are English version. I would like to share only one English version with you, with only a few lines, which I am sure you will all love. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my divine mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my divine mother. Divine mother, my divine mother. Divine Mother, my Divine Mother, Divine Mother, my Divine Mother, Divine Mother, my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my Divine Mother. Engrossed is the bee of my mind on the blue lotus feet of my divine mother. Divine mother, 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 my divine. Friends, divine mother was as visible to him as I am visible to you now. He used to talk to her frequently and intimately. He worshipped Divine Mother from childhood and has also said that Divine Mother came to him even in the form of his Guru. That means he considered his Guru as the form of Divine Mother, Swami Sri Yukteswar Giriji. Of course, he had also so many visions. Many times it had happened that Divine Mother was capturing his body and Divine Mother will speak, used to speak through his body. In 1942, there was a great samadhi where Divine Mother entered in his body and he asked questions in the voice of Yogananda and Divine Mother answered in a lady voice. This was witnessed by many of his direct disciples. So many predictions were also done at that time. So, Divine Mother was always with him. Now, like him, I would like to say in the end that Divine Mother has come to me in the form of my Sadguru, Paramahansa Yogananda. And hence, I will like to end with this beautiful sloka. Guru Madhye Sitau Mata, Matru Madhye Sitau Guru. Guru Mata Namastestu, Matru Guruve Namo Namaha. It means that Divine Mother resides in Guru and Guru resides in Divine Mother. I bow to Sadguru Mata. I bow to Mata Sadguru. Jai Guru, Jai Ma.
Thank you so much. Moving on, the next artist we have is Srimati Yashoda Thakur, PhD. She's an exponent of Kuchipudi and Devadasi Nrityam, the repertoire of the hereditary women dances, and reinforces her repertoire with her understanding and practice of yoga. She was awarded the doctoral degree for her research on interrelationship between yoga and Indian classical dances. She has also authored and co-authored several books. Besides being a consummate performer and choreographer with all the national festivals as well as various international assignments to her credit, she works relentlessly with the hereditary women dancers on the social, historical, and aesthetic aspects of the Devadasi repertoire. Yashoda is now Chair, Department of Kuchipudi, University of Silicon Andhra, California, where she teaches dance history, theory, and practice to graduate students. She was conferred the Bangalore Nagaratnamma Award as well as the Ugadi Puraskaram by the government of Andhra Pradesh.
Dim dim da da dim da 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 dim da da dim da da dim dum da dum da da dan da 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 dim da da dim da da dim dum da 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 dim da da dim da dim da da dim da dim dum da dan da da dan da 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 dim da da dim da dim dim da da dim da dim da 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 dim da da dim da dim da dim da da
చెట్టబట్టగా మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా మకరాజువైతివి మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా మకరాజువైతివి మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా
త ధన్న త కిడదగద త ధి కిడదగద గిడదుం ధన్న త జన్ను తై కిడదగద త ధి కిడదగద గిడదుం తర్రి త ధన్న త తరగిడదుం ధన్న త జన్ను తై తరగిడదుం జన్ను త ధిమ్మిత తరగిడదుం తరగిడదుం ధిమ్ త కిట్ట తరగిడదుం తరగిడదుం తర్రి త ధన్న త జన్ను త ధిమ్మిత ధిమ్మి త కిట్ట తర్రి త ధన్న త జన్ను త ధిమ్మి త ధింగిన్న త ధింగిన్న త ధింగిన్న త తర్రి త ధన్న త జన్ను త ధిమ్మి త ధింగిన్న త ధింగిన్న త ధింగిన్న త తర్రి త ధన్న త జన్ను త ధిమ్మి త ధింగిన్న త ధింగిన్న త ధింగిన్న త
రాజ రాజవార రాజ రాజవార రాజీవాక్ష విను రాజ రాజవార రాజీవాక్ష విను రాజ రాజవార రాజీవాక్ష విను రావణారియని రాజుల్లో కీర్తి రావణారియని రాజుల్లో కీర్తి మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా మహారాజువైతివి మా జానకి చెట్టబట్టగా కానకేగియజ్ఞ నిరకమాయ కరము నుంచి సీకి చెంతనేయుండి కానకేగియజ్ఞ నిరకమాయ కరము నుంచి సీకి చెంతనేయుండి దానవు నీ వెంటనే చని అశోక తరుమూలనే ఉండి
తటి కుడ్డింకు తక్కతం తటి గిన్న తత డింగిన్న తత డింగిన తగదరిగిడదుం తక్క డింకు తక్కతై తటి గిన్నతం త డిం తరిగిడదుం త డింగిన తగదరిగిడదుం తటి కుడ్డింకు తక్కతం గిడతగదరిగిడదుం తక్క డింకు తక్కతై గిడతగదరిగిడదుం తటి కుడ్డింకు తక్క తక్క డింకు తక్క డేటి కుడ్డింకు తక్క గిడతగదరిగిడదుం తటి కుడ్డింకు తక్క తక్క డింకు తక్క డేటి కుడ్డింకు తక్క గిడతగదరిగిడదుం తటి కుడ్డింకు తక్క తక్క డింకు తక్క డేటి కుడ్డింకు తక్క గిడతగదరిగిడదుం తటి కుడ్డింకు తక్క గిడతగదరిగిడదుం తక్క డింకు తక్క గిడతగదరిగిడదుం డేటి కుడ్డింకు తక్క గిడతగదరిగిడదుం 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 గిడతగదరిగిడ
దానవు నీ వెంటనే చని అశోక తరుమూలనే ఉండి కానకేగియజ్ఞ నిరకమాయ కరము నుంచి సీకి చెంతనేయుండి కానకేగియజ్ఞ నిరకమాయ కరము నుంచి సీకి చెంతనేయుండి
that was a virtuoso performance by Yashoda Thakur. Many thanks to her, but definitely because of the problems of which we usually encounter in virtual occasions, we weren't able to really relish the extent to which we would have if we had seen her live. I also want to mention at this juncture that Dr. Yashoda has been very helpful to Atmalya in the last 2 years to identify deserving artists from rural parts of Andhra Pradesh who belong to the erstwhile Devadasi families in awarding them with humble tokens since the last 2 years. She's also brought them over for our festivals in Bangalore. Thank you so much. We now proceed with the next performance. Veena.
Thank you so much. Our next artist is Bharatanatyam Kala Chatura Dr. S. Vasudevan, a noted Carnatic classical singer and a disciple of Guru late Maduraish S.H.R. Ramabhadran, New Delhi. After his MPhil, Dr. Vasudevan received his doctoral degree under the supervision of Professor Dr. Radha Venkatachalam. Under Guru Srimati Vaijayanti Mala Bali, Vasudevan Sir developed a strong foundation in Bharatanatyam through a meticulous Gurukul system for over a decade. As a recipient of Sahitya Kala Parishad scholarship, Vasudevan Sir got exposure to the techniques of Bharatanatyam and group choreographies as laid in Kalakshetra from Guru Srimati Jayalakshmi Ishwar. He has also learned Kathakali from Guru Sadanam Balakrishnan and Chao from Guru Shashadhar Acharya. He believes in imparting values and knowledge of Indian classical arts among the younger generation. He has experience of working with several NGOs and schools, especially with differently abled children and youth, applying the therapeutic touch of dance and music and choreographing productions for them. He's also one of the rare combinations of his generation in the capital. He's a dancer, a musician, a Natuanar, a scholar, as well as a teacher. He has been bestowed with the title Bharatanatyam Kala Chatura, Asthana Natya Vidwan of the Sri Mutt, and Kala Bodhakacharya. He imparts training in dance and music at the Hamsini Center for Bharatanatyam and Carnatic Music in Delhi.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Matre Namaha. Namaskaram to you. Myself, Dr. Sridhar Vasudevan. I'm humbled to be presenting a very small Nritya Seva for our Atmalaya Academy, and my heartful thanks to Dr. Padmaja Sureshakka for this opportunity to be rendering a seva along with her talk series where she is going to share her immense knowledge about Devi, Devi Tattva, Shri Chakra and Navaratri. I wish you all a very pleasant and a very high energy, protective, healing Navaratri to all. Namaskaram.
किण्णं तणकुता कुत किण्णम् 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 त्वद्रूपं सकलमरुणाभं त्रिनयनम् त्वद्रूपं सकलमरुणाभं त्रिनयनम् त्वद्रूपं सकलमरुणाभं त्रिनयनम् कुचाभ्यामानन्दं कुटिलशशिचूडालमकुटम् कुचाभ्यामानन्दं कुटिलशशिचूडालमकुटम् कुचाभ्यामानन्दं कुटिलशशिचूडालमकुटम् शरीरार्धं शम्भोः अपरमपि शङ्के कृतमभूत् शरीरार्धं शम्भोः अपरमपि शङ्के कृतमभूत् शरीरार्धम् शरीरार्धम् दादमरिमदरिमपद मपदत दसद पदमप दादमरिमदरिमपद मपदत दसद पदमप मपद सरिमा पावरि सदा दबमरिस शरीरार्धं शम्भोः अपरमपि शङ्के कृतमभूत् त्वया कृत्वा वपुरपरितृप्तेन मनसा त्वया कृत्वा वामं वपुः अपरितृप्तेन मनसा अपरितृप्तेन मनसा अपरितृप्तेन मनसा शरीरार्थं शम्भो अपरामपि शङ्के कृतमभूत् त्वया कृत्वा वामं वपुरपरितृप्तेन मनसा शरीरार्धं शम्भोः अपरमपि शङ्के कृतमभूत् यदेतत् त्वद्रूपम् सकलमरुणाभं त्रिनयनम् यदेतत् त्वद्रूपं सकलमरुणाभं त्रिनयनं कुचाभ्यामानं कुटिलशशिचूडालमकुटं यदेतत् त्वद्रूपं सकलमरुणाभं त्रिनयनं कुचाभ्यामानं कुटिलशशिचूडालमकुटं त्वया कृत्वा वपुरपरित्रतेन मनसा शरीरार्धं शम्भोः अपरमपि शङ्के कृतमभूत् यदेतत् स्वरूपो सकलमरुणाभं त्रिनयनं कोचाभ्याम् आनन्दं कुटिलशशिचूडालमकुटम्
Our next speaker is Sri Rajagopal Sir, a leadership coach and organization consultant for the past 3 decades, a keen student of history, mythology, folk tales, Eastern philosophies, and practices with particular reference to their influence on human and organization behavior, their applicability in modern day living processes. After the initial years, he switched over to human behavior and psychology and graduated in human behavioral processes, specializing in potential growth. Sri Rajagopal is also associated with education systems and is a trustee of KNA Foundation and Bhumi Foundation for Sustainable Living. Sir?
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
And is the video on? Because I'm not able to see it.
No, sir.
Yeah, your video is not visible, sir.
Yeah, I know. I can't see that. It says you can't start the video because the host has stopped it. Yeah. Can I start?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Namaste to each and everyone. And thank you so much, Atmalya, Dr. Padmaja, Meenal Shah, who got in touch with me a month back. And I think I've been very impressed with yesterday's flow and today morning. So that makes my job a little easy to talk about today's topic. Now, before I actually go on to the topic per se, I think I need to go back a little to create a context from where I will be coming in terms of my pitching the talk. If you look at it, like most typical households in India, I was inducted into religion, the study of mythology, our scriptures, and everything else, more in terms of should and a must. Therefore, if you look at it, meanings were handed over and one had to just follow. Over the past 3-4 decades that I have gone about, and as a student of this field, I have actually taken deep interest to go into the power of each of our scriptures and how it is relevant to each times, not for the time that it was just created. So if I have to then go back to understand the power of the feminine energy, let me make as a preamble that I'm talking about the feminine and not the female as in form. So it's not about male, female, the form, it's just about the feminine and the masculine in terms of qualities. So as we look at that, we need to go about the Shabda Brahman itself. From yesterday morning, I've been hearing, and normally also across the world, we look at Mother Earth, Mother Universe, Mother Nature. So the very being is described as feminine with all its powers. And when that feminine moves out into the outside form, which I will talk about it a little bit in terms of the Bahir from the Lalita Sahasranamam, it gathers the masculine for the need of becoming. So the Shabda Brahman itself, now if you look at the word Shabda Brahman, the Omkar, it's Nadam and not just sound. And it's Nadam, it becomes Nadam because of the fact that it has an inherent feminine energy in it. So there is Pranan in it. Now, from there emerges everything else. Now, if you then look at the Shabda Brahman and try to find meaning for that, the Artham, there are three forms of it. The Artham is divided into Shabdartham, which is primarily the word meaning, the literal meaning as is handed over and given to us. Now, to me, that is very, very limiting because there are a lot of shoulds in it. There are definite meanings. There's no space for anything else, leading to all sorts of calamities around, from arguments to whatever happens. Then there is something called Bhavartham. Now, when you look at the Bhavartham, you go a little beyond the Shabdartham, the exact word meaning, and into the feeling zone of from where what are the feelings of the person who's uttering that Shabdam. What has excited me over the last 3-4 decades is beyond the feeling zone is the Sukshmartham. Now, the Sukshmartham is the entire world of very subtle, subjective interpretations. To me, that is very potent. So if I look at my own journey in discovering this universe, it's been from meaningful recitations to an implementation without really challenging anything, to now becoming a very meaningful interpretation. And once you get into that realm, the next automatic thing that happens is you talk about relevance. So if you look at the feminine energy, the qualities of one of the important qualities of the feminine energy to me is how do I be relevant for all times? So along with relevance, so we are not going to talk about then right and wrong. That's in a very limited universe again. So the word relevance then actually takes you back to various other qualities of adaptability, flexibility. So one associates Mother Nature, the universe, the Mother Earth with all these feminine energies. So from the Shabda Brahman, which has the power of the feminine energy, as it moves out into the Swan, it actually talks about 3 processes that are involved. Now, I would therefore like to detour a little bit from the Shabda Brahman to go back to the entire universe of creation itself. Now, to understand this, I'm going to come back to Lalita Sahasranamam to talk a little more about today's topic, but I would like to go back in time to look at the energy itself. Now, energy is what? Where does one find the source of the energy? I'm not talking about the physics as in Einstein's law, which is about maximum about 200 odd years. The Hindu scriptures goes back to about 5,000 years plus. One has to dig deeper into the Srimad Bhagavata Purana, which is to me, a very all-encompassing document and a very powerful one. Now, if in the Bhagavad Puranam, Srimad Bhagavatam, the most potent chapter is the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. It is the 4th Adhyaya. Now, what is Chatushloki Bhagavatam all about, and how is it relevant to energy fields and to the relevance and permanence that one is talking about? Now, Chatushloki Bhagavatam, in essence, is that feminine part of Vishnu in dialogue with Brahma before Brahma sets about the task of creation of the universe. It's a very powerful one, especially to understand the power of the feminine energy. Now, before Brahma even sets about this task, Vishnu has this dialogue with him to say that, look, please understand that actually what you're going to do is only transformation and not actual creation. Because the word creation means you're bringing it from nowhere, and transformation is that there is already an existing of something before. So Lord Vishnu then talks about that before the earth, before the universe was created, it was always there. So he talks about it is, it was, it is, and it will be. So the three processes of Shabda Brahman as it moves out into the Bahir is actually one of transformation and creation. A very powerful message. To me, one of the very important things that I've journeyed into this field in terms of is how do these very powerful scriptures, philosophies, mythologies, call it whatever, how is it applicable to a layman in today's world? Because to me, unless it's something applicable, I do not find very attractive and getting pulled towards it. So actually this dialogue talks about saying, don't take credit for doership. You are only a transformer. So neither will you take credit for doership nor ownership. Now, again, these two are extremely powerful feminine qualities and energy that comes from feminine energy. And then the next one is of sustenance, maintenance, development, which the Vishnu part of it is all about. And finally, we talked about the Trinity from the Shabda Brahman that emerges. It is about what normally people call as destruction. I only like to call it as dissolution for further evolution and transformation. Because it's very harsh to call out somebody so powerful as a destroyer of. I don't think Shiva is a destroyer. He actually says that which is not relevant anymore needs to be dissolved, so that it becomes a cyclical process that what gets dissolved gets back to the creator for further transformation. Now, from the Shabda Brahman, so if you look, to me, it is very important when we go back to understand this from the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. The moment the Shabda Brahman evolves and emerges into the Trinity, walks the three divine feminine energy also of Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, and Parvati, the goddess of sustenance and grace. Now, to me, these are very, very important. Because unless these add to the source of these processes of creation, sustenance, and maintenance, there would not be well-being. Having said this, let me quickly go then into the Lalita Sahasranamam. The Lalita Sahasranamam, I think today morning, Mr. Arthreya from Chennai, who spoke, a very senior person, he spoke about the Lalita Sahasranamam. The other speaker also from Ahmedabad, Bombay, also spoke about when he was talking about yoga, Paramananda Yoga. He also spoke about the Lalita Sahasranamam. And the last person who spoke and who performed right before my talk, he talked about Shri Matre Namaha. Now, if you go back to Lalita Sahasranamam, the first line itself indicates the power of the feminine energy, and without which the masculine is very helpless. It talks about Shri Matre Namaha, the three Shris, Shri Matre, Shri Maharajni, Shrimat Simhasaneshwari. To me, more than important, then there is the fourth one, which actually says Chitagnigunda Sambhuta, Deva Karya Samudhyata. Now, these two to me, in terms of application for the corporate world that I work with, for the homes that we live, the universe that we live, is so important. Where does this energy come from? This energy is actually, the feminine energy to me is nothing but powerful awareness. Awareness of the context. So you may be technically very right, but if you're not aware and therefore apply that so-called very right thing in a context which was not relevant, it doesn't work well. It destroys the well-being. So it actually says, from the awareness, the passion, fire of awareness was born Devi. So she's an embodiment of awareness. Chitagni Kunda Sambhut. And what was the reason for her evolution, for her coming out? Is for the Deva Karya, which means, as I have interpreted it, is for the well-being of the macro. So it goes beyond purposes to meaning of life. To me, therefore, as I have worked in the last so many years, it's very important that we need to work for the meaning of life rather than just a very short-sighted purpose of life. You may achieve your purpose, but yet feel very meaningless. So it actually talks about Deva Karya, Chitagni Kunda Sambhuta, Deva Karya Samudhyata, and then it goes on. So the meanings, therefore, will ensure, again, qualities of the feminine energy, which is continuity, well-being, and inner peace. Now, if you go back and pause here, I would like to take a detour from the Lalita from first Sloka to Vishnu Puram a little bit. Why is this so important? Because if you go back to the Vishnu Puran, the purpose of the avatars itself was that there was a rush to the purpose, achieving the purpose without pausing to add the feminine energy of the awareness. So let me quickly take a minute to say, Brahma set on this part of creation and he created Manu and Shatrupa, the feminine and masculine energy for creation of the universe, further creation of the universe. And he also created the Sapta Rishis, which is the source of powerful knowledge. And he said, this is very important. And quickly, Vishnu the feminine energy had to come and say, look, knowledge by itself is Jadatmika. It's like a dead, cold, frozen being. It has to operate within the power of Vedas. So therefore, Vedas was then created, saying all knowledge has to have a boundary within which knowledge, however good they are, powerful they are, will operate. And then the story goes on to how Hayagriva, the demon, stole the book of Vedas, the 4 Vedas. And then Brahma runs quickly to Shiva and not to Vishnu. And between them, they talk about a quick next purpose and saying, we'll destroy the Asuras to get back the Vedas. Now, and therefore, they resolve that there will be a pralay. So Shiva would unleash a pralay. Now, having done this, how does one ensure continuity? Because there will be only destruction. There won't be dissolution. So the feminine energy then comes back to take a pratigya saying, I will come back in avatars again and again and again, every time that there is an imbalance between the feminine energy and the masculine energy. To me, this is very, very important. Now, if you go back, Lalita Sahasranam beautifully talks about saying, Jada Shakti, it talks about Chit Rupa, Chit Shakti Chetana Rupa. That is the Shakti, the energy that is born out of this feminine Chitam, that is the awareness, creates a very powerful energy, it's Chetana Rupa. Any Shakti that comes from mere knowledge from the outside sources, it's Jada Shakti. It says Jada Shakti Jadatmika. It is as simple as a stillborn child. So there is the power of Vivekam and wisdom and awareness that is very, very important, that one has to actually integrate. So every time I listen to the Vishnu Sahasranamam, I actually go back and let me say that the Sahasranama is not 1,000 names. So Sahasranama, as I have understood and accepted it for my life, is it actually depicts the unlimited, infinite qualities of a being. It's almost a reminder saying each one of us has those unlimited qualities within us. So therefore, there are nothing right and wrong about the qualities, it's only relevance. So Lalita Sahasranamam further says, one of the realities is that you can't be just in your being. The reality of life is in the outside, the Bahir. And in this duality of the being and the becoming in the outside, stresses are going to be created. It's an inevitable, which you cannot control. So very beautifully, one of the verses says, Antarmukha Samaradhya Bahirmukha Sudurlabha. It actually says, while you continue to engage in the outside, please take time out to visit the Antar, the inner being, where you get in touch with the feminine. And the moment you get in touch with the feminine, you don't have to do anything. I mean, I'm also a follower of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. So he always says, Chummaru, do nothing, remain aware, still. What does it mean? So even meditating is doing something to me. It is just going back into the Antar, the feminine, and just remaining still. And from the stillness of the powerful chitta or awareness will automatically come out. And then one can then go back to the Bahir for performance of roles. The Lalita Sahasranamam is so powerful that as we keep going back further and deeper into it, it talks about Odhyana Pita Nilaya Bindu Mandala Vasini, saying the feminine energy is the centric part of the entire being. And it goes through the 7 nadis, the 7 chakras, and the 72,000 nadis and controls it completely. And therefore, it then says, if you can be aware of this feminine power and the energy inside each one of us and the universe, it talks about the integration of Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. It says for every action, one has to merge these 3 Shaktis. And before I end, finally, if I look at the last way, the way how Lalita Sahasranamam ends, it accepts the fact that there has to be a perfect integration between the Tandav and the Laya, Lasyam, to form a Talam. So it goes on to conclude the Lalita Sahasranamam by saying, Shiva Shaktya Aikya Rupinye Namaha. So it actually says we need, or each one of us, if we have to ensure a well-being, ensure meaningfulness beyond purposefulness, we will have to constantly look at the Aikyam between the Shiva, the masculine energy, and the feminine energy regularly, accepting that in the Bahir, there will be the dislocation. So this is what I thought I wanted to share with you all. Thank you very much. Thanks again.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much, sir, for your
time. Our next performer is Srimati Uttra Vijay Raghavan. She's the artistic director of Kirtana Music School in Melbourne, an accomplished Carnatic vocalist emerging from a musical family. She has learned from several distinguished gurus and was exposed to different musical styles, culminating in her training under the auspice of Sri S.P. Ram in the late legendary violinist Lalgudi Jayaraman School of Music.
Padmaja and PH.
She's a versatile artist, composer, and who is comfortable working in the classical and contemporary forms of music and dance. She has performed in a range of venues in India, Australia, and Europe.
Namaste everyone. Shubha Navaratri to all of you. I'm very happy to be part of this wonderful platform. My humble pranams to all my gurus. Sincere thanks to Dr. Padmaja Suresh and Srimati Chandana for having me here in this Association of Great Scholars. On this occasion, I would like to offer my salutation to Goddess Saraswati and praying for the peace of entire world. I will be presenting two compositions. The first one will be in the Ram Devagantari, the composition of Sri Papanasam Shivan, which will be followed by a composition of Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati in the Ragam Hamir Kalyan. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Sharade Veena Vadana Visharade Vande Tava Pade 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 Sharade Veena Vadana Visharade. Naradanani Chatur Vadananayaki Bhukti Mukti Dayaki Narada Janani Chatur Vadananayaki Bhukti Mukti Dayaki Narada Janani Chatur Vadananayaki Bhukti Mukti Dayaki Nalinadala Lochani Bhavamochani Hamsavahini Hamsagamini Nalinadala Lochani Bhavamochani शारदे वीणा वादन विशारदे वन्दे तव पदे शारदे वीणा वादन विशारदे इंद्रादि सकल वृंदारकगण वंदित वरदरविंदे इंद्रादि सकल वृंदारकगण वंदित वरदरविंदे इंदुवीडंबन मंदस्मितयुत सुंदर मुखारविंदे इंदुवीडंबन मंदस्मितयुत सुंदर मुखारविंदे मंदारु सुजन मंदार दया सदने मृदुगणे मंदारु सुजन मंदार दया सदने मृदुगणे कल्याणी वरदे रामदास हृदयालये वाणी नित्य कल्याणी वरदे रामदास हृदयालये श्री शारदे वीणा वादन विशारदे वन्दे तव पदे शारदे वीणा वादन विशारदे शारदे करुणानिधे सकलानवाम्ब सदा जनान् शारदे कमलानिधे सकलानवाम्ब सदा जनान् चारणादिमगीतवैभव पूरिताखिल दीप्तते शारदे करुणानिधे सकलानवाम्ब सदा जनान् चारणादिमगीतवैभव पूरिताखिल दीप्तते शारदे करुणानिधे सकलानवाम्ब सदा जनान् चारणादिमगीतवैभव पूरिताखिल दीप्तते शारदे करुणानिधे भर्मभूषण भूषिते वररत्नमौलि विराजिते भर्मभूषण भूषिते वररत्नमौलि विराजिते शर्मदायिनि कर्ममोचिनि निर्मलं कुरु मानसं शारदे करुणानिधे भर्मभूषण भूषिते वररत्नमौलि विराजिते शर्मदायि कर्ममोचिनि निर्मलं कुरु मानसं हस्तसंधृत पुस्तकाष्टपटी सुधाघटमुद्रिके हस्तसंधृत पुस्तकाक्षपटी सुधाघटमुद्रिके कस्तवास्ति विवर्मणे चतुरो नरकचरो तव शारदे करुणानिधे हस्तसंहृत पुस्तकाक्षपटी सुधाघटमुद्रिके कस्तवास्ति विवर्मणे चतुरो नरकचरो तव शारदे करुणानिधे सकलानवाम्ब सदा चारणादिमगीतवैभव पूरिततिलधिकते शारदे करुणानिधे शारदे करुणानिधे शारदे करुणानिधे. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful recital. The next artist that we have is Dr. Meera Rajaram Pranesh. She's a musician, musicologist, and a researcher. She learned Veena at the age of 7 from Vidwan L. Sheshagiri Rao and then pursued Carnatic music, vocal under the tutelage of Vidushi Sudha V. Murthy and Vidushi Rohini Manjunath. She received her postgraduate degree in Carnatic music from Bangalore University and was awarded the gold medal in 1995. Meera ji has completed her MPhil and PhD. She is also the recipient of the Research Fellowship from Human Resource Development, Ministry of Culture, Government of India, and has completed her projects under the guidance of Dr. R. Satyanarayana. Dr. Meera is well versed with the performing arts facet of music and performs in concerts and also has a keen interest in the academic and research side of music. She has delivered several lecture demonstrations and has multiple publications under her name. Dr. Meera is also a UGC approved guide for MPhil and PhD research scholars and has guided more than 25 research scholars. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Namaskarams to everyone. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My sincere pranams to all my gurus who have guided me in my life. Thanks to Atmalaya and Dr. Padmaja Suresh and the whole team who has worked relentlessly on this and then who has given me an opportunity to speak today. I would just like to share some of the things which I have imbibed from many great scholars. Dr. Padmaja mentioned that I should speak about the chakra aspects, that's the Sri Chakra, and then the deities who are present in the Sri Chakra. So this is my very humble attempt to share with you all. The importance of the ultimate power or Shakti was so well understood by mankind centuries ago that they worshipped Shakti in different forms across the world. The principles and practice of worship of Devi in India is known as Sri Vidya Upasana. Of course, there are many practices, but today I'm just talking about the Sri Chakra. Sri Chakra Yantra is a path to Sri Vidya practice. The word Sri means beauty, splendor, goodwill, sanctity, and also denotes the abode of Lakshmi or Devi. Sri Chakra is called the Yantra Raja, the king of Yantra, as it is believed to maintain equilibrium in creation, maintenance, and dissolution in all the manifested and unmanifested creatures of micro and macrocosm. Worship of Sri Vidya comprises of yantra, that is Sri Chakra, mantra, which is Panchadashi or Shodashi, and which is the subtle body of Devi, and Tantra or ideology involving the ancient practice. The worship of Sri Chakra can fetch pleasure and deliverance to mankind. Sri Chakra Yantra comprises of 9 enclosures, juxtaposed one upon another. The outer 3 enclosures denote creation, middle 3 preservation, and the inner 3 dissolution. The intricate design of Sri Chakra has 43 triangles, 24 angles, and 28 triple line junctions, which are known as potential points or marmasthana. The first 5 enclosures denote Shakti, that is the power, and remaining 4 denote Shiva or knowledge. Shiva and Shakti are in communion in such a way that one does not exist without the other, and this can be compared to moon and moonlight, which cannot be separated. The matrix of 9 avaranas of Sri Chakra are Bhupura, Shodashadala Padma, Ashtadala Padma, Chaturdashara, Bahirdashara, Antardashara, Ashtakona, Mula Trikona, and Bindu. Sri Chakra is worshipped in 2 ways. One is beginning from the Bindu, concluding with Bhupura, that is from inside to outside, which is called Srishti Krama. And the other way is in the reverse order, called Samhara Krama, that is from the Bhupura, the outward to the inwards, Bhupura to Bindu. Each enclosure of Sri Chakra has a specific name, form, color, primordial syllable, that is the Bijakshara, philosophy, Chakreshwari, who is the leader of all the deities present in that particular enclosure, yoginis, the various forms of mother goddess who constitute the materialistic world, but preside over all aspects of the transactional world, and Mudra Devatas, who invite, purify, and give pleasure to the seeker or the Upasaka. Sri Chakra is believed to be the body of the mother goddess and each enclosure her form. Hence, the worship of Sri Chakra bestows the grace from mother goddess. The first enclosure, now I'll just go one by one with each enclosure. A very brief features I would be sharing with you. The first enclosure of Sri Chakra is called Trailokya Mohana Chakra, which is in a square form with 4 entrances in 4 directions. This is also called Bhupura, consisting of 3 lines. The outer line, there are different colors, I mentioned it earlier itself. So the outer white colored line comprises of 10 siddhis or attainments located in their designated places. It's always, all the deities present in the Sri Chakra will be given a designated place. The Devatas has to sit there itself, and then they will, as per the wishes, they will be performing their portfolios or conducting their work, whatever will be taken care by them. So, so these siddhis denote the human mind's rasas, or the emotions. So there are, I said there are 10 siddhis who sit in their respective places. Anima is believed to take a microform and denote Shantarasa. Lakhima takes a very light form and denote Adbhutarasa. Mahima, huge size, and Karunarasa. Ishitva, she represents the lordship and power to regulate in creative manner, and she denotes Veera Rasa. Vashitva subjugates everything and denotes Hasya Rasa. Prakamya fulfills all the desires and denotes Bhivatsa Rasa. Bhukti, the power to enjoy attainments, gives out the Raudra Rasa. And Icha fulfills all desires and denotes Bhayanaka Rasa. Prapti has the power of accepting any challenge, and she denotes Shringara Rasa. Sarvakama Siddhi fulfills every desire and denoting the Niyati. But some schools of thought consider only 8 siddhis, that is the Ashta Siddhis. And the siddhis are red in complexion, and they are attired with the crescent moon on their crown, holding a Chintamani. Chintamani is the jewel which can grant any boon. They will be holding it in the right hand, and with the left hand, they show the symbol of protection. The middle red colored line has 8 matrikas, or the deities who represent primordial syllables. They are believed to keep away all the evil elements of the mind. Brahmi, the power of Brahma, she denotes desire. Maheshwara's power, Maheshwari, the anger. Kartikeya's power, Kaumari, the greed. Vishnu's power, Vaishnavi, the delusion. Varaha's power, Varahi, the pride. Indra's power, Indrani, the envy. Chamundi denotes merit and Lakshmi denotes demerit. Here also we have 2 schools of thought. One is Ashtamatrikas and the other one is Saptamatrikas. So matrikas are of deep blue in complexion. They wear a red attire, holding lotus in one hand and a bowl of nectar in another. The inner yellow line has 10 mudra shaktis, that is symbolic powers. Sarva Sanshobhini, the power that agitates. Sarva Vidramini drives away everything. Sarvakarshini, she fascinates. Akarshani, Sarva Vashankari, who subjugates. Sarvonmadini, the power that maddens. Unmada. Sarva Mahankusha, the power that goads. Sarva Khechari moves in void. Sarva Bija is the source, and Sarva Yoni who procreates, and Sarva Trikandini, the power that arouses and sustains power in the devotee. Mudra Devatas have the skin tone of the rising sun, holding a noose and a goad in their hands. The above 3 lines, that is for the Bhupura, they represent the feet, knee, thigh portions and Muladhara Chakra, portions of the Devi and Muladhara Chakra of the human beings. The first enclosure denotes 3 virtual worlds representing attainment, obstruction, and power. It also stands for Srishti or creation. Tripura is the Chakreshwari or the leader of this Avarana. All the deities of this enclosure are known as Prakata Yoginis. That is, they can be seen or manifest yoginis. There are 28 deities in this Avarana. The spiritual secret of this chakra is to control Atma Shakti, that is, the power of consciousness. After the first enclosure, there is a triple girdle. If at all you observe the Sri Chakra Yantra, you can see a triple girdle on after the Bhupura. In Dakshinamurti tradition, the girdles are present but not worshipped. I think the traditions have already been discussed yesterday, so I don't want to go in depth with these things. So in Dakshinamurti tradition, the girdles are present but not worshipped, whereas the Haigriva tradition does not include girdles at all, but Ananda Bhairavi tradition has both girdle and the worship. Then moving on to the second enclosure or the Avarana, which is called Sarvasha Paripuraka Chakra. The name itself indicates that it is believed to fulfill all the desires. This is also called Shodasha Patraka, and this is represented by 16 lotus petals, and each petal has a deity known as Gupta Yoginis, also called Nityakala Devis. The 16 Nityakala Devis denote, because there are 16 deities here, Yoginis, present in this second Avarana. The 16 Nityakala Devis denote the daily loads comprising of Panchabhutas or Panchabhutas, which are earth, water, fire, ether, and sky. Panchendriyas, namely ear, skin, eyes, tongue, and nose. Panchakarmendriya, that is the organs of action, which are speech, feet, hands, and the two excretory organs. And the transaction of 5 elements with Panchendriyas, Karmendriyas, and the mind totals to 16 Nityakala Devis who are present in this particular Avarana. And they are Kama Karshini, as the name indicates, desire, Buddhya Karshini, consciousness, Ahankara Karshini, ego, Shabda Karshini, sound, Sparsha Karshini, touch, Rupa Karshini, form, Rasa Karshini, taste, Gandha Karshini, smell, Chitta Karshini, thought, Dhairya Karshini, valor, Smritya Karshini, memory, Nama Karshini, name, Bija Karshini, seed, Atma Karshini, selfhood, Amrita Karshini, immortality, Sharira Karshini, the physical body. The Chakreshwari of the second Avarana is Tripureshi. This chakra represents the part below the navel region and Swadhisthana chakra of the human body. The philosophy of this chakra is to refine one's own desire, knowledge, and physical functions. The Gupta Yoginis, they have 4 arms and 3 eyes. They hold a bow, arrow, and sword, and a shield. Moving on to the third enclosure, or the Avarana, is Sarva Sanshobhana Chakra, that is the agitator of all. This has 8 lotus petals with a deity in each petal called Gupta Tara Yogini. That is, more we go inwards, the secrecy will be more. So Gupta Tara means more hidden yoginis, we can understand like, and they are known as Ananga Shaktis. They denote 8 modes of the mind and passions related to lust. Ananga Kusuma, the flower of Eros, denotes power of speech. Ananga Mekhala, the girdle of Eros, denotes power of prehension. Ananga Madana, which is the intoxication, denotes locomotion. Ananga Madanathura, the urgency of the intoxication of Eros, denotes elimination. Ananga Rekha, the skirting line of Eros, denotes pleasurable feelings. Ananga Vegini, the urge of Eros, denotes rejection. Ananga Madanankusha, the goat of Eros, denotes attention. Ananga Malini, the garland of Eros, denotes detachment. The above 8 deities are represented in specific letters in their respective petals, with the Chakreshwari being Tripura Sundari. This chakra denotes the navel portion of the human body, corresponding to Manipura chakra. The philosophical aspect of this chakra is to control the 8 aspects of the desire. Ananga Shaktis hold a sugarcane bow, floral arrows, because it is the Ananga Shaktis. They hold the floral arrows and a spear and a lotus in each of their arms. The fourth avarana of Sri Chakra is Sarva Saubhagya Dayaka Chakra, that is, who is the provider of all prosperity. It has 14 blue triangles. Now we move on to the triangles. There are 14 blue triangles called Dashehra with 14 Sampradaya yoginis inside these triangles. They represent 14 netherworlds, 14 parts of time, and 14 Nadi channels of the human body. Sarva Sanshobhini represents the Alambusha Nadi, the nadis within our body. Sarva Vidravini represents Kuhu Nadi. Sarvakarshini represents Vishwadhara Nadi. Sarvahladini Varana Nadi. Sarva Sammohini Hasti Jivha Nadi. Sarva Stambini Yashovati Nadi. Sarva Jrumbini Payasvini Nadi. Sarva Vashankari Gandhari Nadi. Sarva Ranjini Pusha Nadi. Sarvonmadini the Shankini Nadi. Sarvartha Sadhini Saraswati Nadi. Sarva Sampatti Purini Ida Nadi. Sarva Mantramayi Pingala Nadi. And Sarva Dvandva Kshayankari Sushumna Nadi. The Chakreshwari of this avarana is Tripuravasini. This chakra represents the abdominal region and Anahata chakra of the human body. The philosophy of this chakra is to acquire pure consciousness. These Sampradaya yoginis carry a bow, arrows, and a sword made of fire, and carry a shield called Vahni Chakra in each of their 4 arms. The fifth enclosure of Sri Chakra, having 10 outward facing red triangles or Bahir Dashara, is called Sarvartha Sadhaka Chakra. The 10 triangles represent the Prana Panchaka and the Naga Panchakas, which denote the 10 pranas of the human body. It also represents the 10 avatars of Vishnu. The 10 deities residing in this avarana are called Kulottirna yoginis, who are beyond the reach of human senses. Sarva Siddhi Prada, who bestows all attainments, denotes prana. Sarva Sampat Prada denotes apana. Sarva Priyankari denotes vyana. Sarva Mangalakarini udana. Sarva Kamaprada samana. Sarva Dukkha Vimochani naga. Sarva Mrityu Prashamani, who denotes kurma. Sarva Vigna Nivarini denotes krikara. Sarvanga Sundari, who has a beautiful body, she denotes the Devadatta. And Sarva Saubhakya Dayini denotes Dhananjaya. The Chakreshwari of this avarana is Tripura Shri. This chakra represents the throat and the Vishuddha chakra in the human body. The philosophy of this chakra is wealth and deliverance, denoting Shaktitva and Shivatva, which stands for acquisition and renunciation. The yoginis hold axe, noose, mace, and ghantamani. The sixth avarna, that is from the sixth avarna, we move on to the Shiva Tattva. Till the fifth one, it is the Shakti Tattva, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 will be the Shiva Tattva. The sixth avarna, having the 10 inner facing blue triangles or Antardashara, is called Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. That is, who is the protector of all. Shiva Tattva, that is the pure consciousness, begins from this enclosure. They denote the 10 fire powers corresponding to digestive aspects of the human body. The deities residing in the triangles are called Nigarbha Yoginis, or the deeply embedded yoginis. Sarvagnya, who knows everything, represents Rechaka. These are the digestive aspects what we would be talking about in this particular avarana. Sarva Shakti Prada, who bestows the energy, represents Pachaka. Sarva Aishwarya Prada represents Shoshaka. Sarva Jnanamayi, Dahaka. Sarva Vyadhi Vinashini represents Plavaka. Sarvadhara Swarupa represents Ksharaka. Sarva Papahara represents Udgrahaka. Sarvanandamayi, Shobhaka. Sarva Raksha Swarupini, Jrumbaka. Sarvepsita Phalaprada represents Mohaka. So the Chakreshwari of this avarana is Tripuramalini, and Antardashara denotes Agnya Chakra, which is between the two eyebrows in the human body. The philosophy of this chakra is to convert ignorance to knowledge. That is why it is Sarva Rogahara Chakra, not only the physical diseases, it is also internal. So Sarva Rogahara Chakra, ignorance is also a roga, so ignorance into knowledge. Nigarbha Yoginis hold Shakti or power, Vajra and Tomara and Chakra in their 4 arms. Actually, when we look into all these things, each and every part of our body is ruled by one Devi. That is why we always say, that I don't have energy in my finger. I don't have energy in my nerve. I don't have energy in this nail. So what is that? Every single aspect, whether it is the micro or the pindanda or the macro, Brahmanda, it is ruled by one Shakti. The 7th chakra is Sarvarogahara Chakra, and comprising of 8 red triangles. The deities present here are called Rahasya Yoginis. They are Vagdevatas who originate all the Sanskrit alphabets, and they were the powers who composed the thousands names of secret names of the goddess. That is the Lalita Sahasranama. That is, they say that Vashinyadi Devatas, they were the ones who composed these 1,000 namas of Lalite. And as per the wish of the goddess herself. And these 8 Devatas are Vashini, who represent the 16 vowels A to Aha with the power cold. Kameshi, the lord of desires, represents 5 consonants from Ka with the power of heat. Mohini represents 5 consonants from Cha and denote happiness. Vimala, who is the purifier, the name itself indicates Vimala. So the purifier represents 5 consonants from Ta and denotes unhappiness. Aruna, with the color of dawn, represents 5 consonants from Ta and denotes intentions. Jayini, the conqueror, represents 5 consonants from Pa and denotes Sattva, or the knowledge. Sarveshi represents Ya, Ra, La, Va, and she denotes Rajas. Kaulini represents Sha, Sha, Sa, Ha, La, Sha and denotes tamas. The first 5 Vagdevis denote Panchabhuta or the 5 elements, and the last 3 denote Prajna, Aham and Manas. The Chakreshwari of this Avarana is Tripura Siddha. The 7th enclosure denotes Manas Chakra, situated in the forehead called Lalata. The 7th chakra is to get rid of eternal diseases like desire, anger, arrogance, lust, greed, envy, emotion, hatred, pride, and etc. Rahasya yoginis hold a bow, arrows, a book, and a lute in their 4 arms because they also denote the jnana. So they hold a book and the veena, that is the lute. In the space between the 7th and the 8th enclosures, Mother Goddess's weapons are present in the form of bijaksharas or seed syllables. They are 5 floral arrows representing tanmatras, that is sound, touch, form, emotion, and scent, corresponding to its respective panchabhutas. A bow made out of sugarcane representing mind, noose representing emotion, gourd representing jealousy. The Devis carrying these weapons on their heads are red in complexion with their hands in the postures of Abhaya and Varada. The 8th Avarana of the Sri Chakra is Sarva Siddhiprada Chakra. It has only one triangle called Mula Trikona, which denotes pure ideology, and it is in white color. There are 3 Ati Rahasya yoginis seated in this triangle who represent Prakriti, Buddhi, and Ahankara. Kameshwari adorns the Kamapitha and represents the creative power of Brahma. She also represents the unmanifested nature and ideology of the moon. Vajreshwari adorns the Purnagiri Pita and represents the preservative power of Vishnu. She represents the ideology of the sun and also Buddhi. Bhagamalini adorns the Jalandhara Pita and represents the power of resolution of Shiva. She also represents the ideology of Agni and denotes Ahankara. These primary triangles also denote the 3 forms of speech called Pashyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikari, and hence it is called Vagbhava. They also represent the 3 gunas, Satvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika. There are 5 deities on each, the triangle is like this, and there are 5 deities on each side of the triangle, totaling to 15, and are called Nitya Avarana Devatas. They represent the 15 phases of the moon. Hence, Sri Vidya is also called Chandrakala Jnana. The 15 deities are Kameshwari, Bhagamalini, but this Kameshwari and Bhagamalini are different from the Rahasya yoginis. So, Kameshwari, Bhagamalini, Nitya Klinna, Bherunda, Vanimasini, Mahavidyeshwari, Shivadyuti, Tvarita, Kulasundari, Nitya, Neelapataka, Vijaya, Sarvamangala, Jwalamalini, and Vichitra. The Chakreshwari of the 8th Avarana is Tripurambika. The Mula Trikona denotes Mastaka, the top of the head, and Soma Chakra. The philosophy of this chakra is the powers of desire, knowledge, and action, Icha, Kriya, and Jnana Shaktis. Ati Rahasya yoginis in their 8 arms hold bow, arrow, liquor bowl, madala, dagger, shield, nagapasha, and a high frequency bell, that is the Ghantamani. The 9th Avarana of the Sri Chakra, that is the last Avarana, is Sarvanandamaya Chakra, which is filled with bliss, denoted by a bindu. that is a point or a dot. It is also called Chintamani Graha, Bindu Pitha, Ananda Pitha, and Mahapitha, the greatest seat of all. In the Bindu or dot, Kameshwara, who is beyond constraints, symbolizing the pure consciousness, has Kameshwari on his lap, symbolizing his energy. She is comprehensible by human beings, who unfolds the phenomenal multiplicity. These two unite to form Mahatripura Sundari, seated in the Vadhyana Pitha. The yogini in this avarana is Parapara Rahasya Yogini. In the human body, Bindu represents the 1,000-petaled lotus, which is on the crown of the head, known as Brahmarandra. The mantra of this chakra is Panchadashi or Shodishi, and the philosophy is experience of Brahman. Experience of Brahman is difficult, or I can say it is not possible according to philosophy, but here it is Shiva Shaktiaika Rupini. So, because they will be in the Avyakta Rupa inside the Bindu. Shiva denotes Prakasha, which means light or pure consciousness. Shakti denotes Vimarsha, which means reflection or deliberation. The Samarasya of Shiva and Shakti is the point of utmost joy. Vimarsha denotes the Tanmatras, which are comprehensible to the senses. She holds the bow, which represents the Chitta or the mind, arrow for Tanmatras, noose for Raga, and the goad for Dvesha or the jealousy. Sri Chakra represents the micro and the macrocosms. In the Bindu, Devi is in Parapara Rupa and Ishvara in Sadashiva Rupa. So, Devi and Shiva are believed to be in eternal communion in the Bindu, which happens to be the timeless knowledge. Salutations to the Great Mother who takes us to the eternal bliss. Sri Chakra has 9 avaranas, and each avarana has yoginis and chakreshwaris. It also denotes the Pancha Gnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Rupadi Vishayas, Pancha Bhutas, Manas, Maya, Kala, Vidya, Raga, Niyati, Prakriti, Purusha, Buddhi, Ahankara, Shuddha Vidya, Ishvara, Sadashiva, Shakti, and Shiva, totaling to 36 tattvas. Daivagama states that anyone who worships Sri Chakra, even for 3 seconds with devotion, is bound to get all their desires fulfilled. This is because the power of the Sri Chakra or Devi works relentlessly to maintain harmony in the universe with all the creation, preservation, and resolution. The Sri Chakra is not just a mere geometric figure. It represents the union of the physical world with its unmanifest source of power. The yantra symbolizes that every aspect of the physical universe begins at a bindu or a point, and the bindu goes on to symbolize the communion of Shiva and Shakti. In other words, the bindu is a starting point or the source of power, thus making Shakti the mother of energy in the physical universe. The Supreme Mother, therefore, influences almost every aspect of the universe and thus is an integral part of human life. My pranams.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next artist is Srimati Kanaka Sudhakar. Srimati Kanaka Sudhakar is a passionate Bharatanatyam artist trained under various gurus like Srimati Rukmini, Sri Venkatraman, Srimati Padmasani of Kalakshetra, Sri Sadashivam, and finally with Guru VP and Shanta Dhananjayan. She is also trained in Kuchipudi under Guru Sita Nagajoti. She established Nritya Bharati in 1987, which has trained hundreds of artists in Bharatanatyam in the past 3 decades. She is also the founder of Sunena, Society for Upliftment of National Arts in India to promote arts and education. She has also written a book titled Indian Classical Dance, The Therapeutic Advantages. She was awarded fellowship for her research and recognized for her work by awards like Sri Vivekananda National Award, Bharat Excellence Award, Nritya Mayuri, Guru Dronacharya Award, and many more. Guru Kanaka Sudhakar has developed her own style and presentation of Bharatanatyam. Her choreographies are traditional, yet explore innovations in presentations. In this performance, she is accompanied by her disciples, Ms. Aparajita Sharma and Sapna Attawar.
My performance will be
அற்புதம் கண்ட ஆனந்த பைரவி கருணையில்
I would now like to invite our chief guest, Dr. Neelakandan sir, to come and grace the occasion and say a few words.
Pranams to all. Can you hear? I am clear. Can you hear? I am clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're
Yes,
clear.
sir.
Okay. Namaste. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parambaram. I am very happy to join with all of you, great gurus, artists, dancers, and connoisseurs in the Navaratri webinar organized by Atmalaya Academy, Bangalore, headed by or led by Dr. Padmaja Suresh. I am thankful to Dr. Padmaja and the other organizers of this webinar for inviting me to participate in it and to be the chief guest of the program today. I was attending the program yesterday, the first day, and I have I had the opportunity to listen the speeches of great gurus like Kalyana Sundaram and Padma Subramaniam and others. I wholeheartedly appreciate the venture of Atmalaya Academy, Bangalore, for organizing such a serious and academic webinar connected with the Navaratri festival. I am associated with Dr. Patmadya and the activities of Atmalaya for the past many years. The academy is concentrating in many activities related to dance performance, its teaching, research, and stage presentation. The students of Atmalaya Academy are spread all over the world. We were witnessing yesterday and today about 100 artists and connoisseurs and disciples, including disciples of Dr. Patmadya, are attending the programs. The Atmalaya Academy is doing many things related to teaching and education and research and dissemination of the theater arts, especially dance forms. Over and above all these, Atmalaya Academy is doing so many things for the benefit of the public in general and the expert artists in particular, like providing assistance of many kinds and various awards and recognitions to the artists from very different area and from very different strata of society. I used to get the program brochures of Atmalaya Academy every year. The recognitions and awards presented to artists, particularly folk artists from Adivasi, Gotra, class, etc., are very much commendable. I wish the activities of the Academy, led by Patmadya with the help and cooperation of the team with her, will get strengthened in the future also more vigorously. This is the context of Navaratri, and the Navaratri concept is very important in our tradition, particularly in our teaching learning process. Now, many scholars were presenting their ideals related to the various aspects of Navaratri concept. Goddess Saraswati is the center of worship in all these days in different forms. Generally, Goddess Saraswati is conceived as Parashakti. Now, in the former lecture, some aspects of the Goddess Saraswati were explained. the speech, god of speech, Vak, has 4 forms: Para, Pasyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. From the Rigveda onwards, these 4 concepts of Para, Vak or speech is referred to. In Rigveda, there is the famous mantra, stanza, Chattuvari Vak Parimita Padani, Tani Viduhu Brahmanaye Manishina, Guha Trini Nihida Nengayanti, Turiyam Vacho Manushya Vadanti. Speech has 4 forms: Para, Pasyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari. Among these, only the last one, Vaikhari, that we hear from our lips and parts of the mouth in the form of kakha, gakha, etc., that we speak now and all of you hear. Only this is the most outward form. Para Vak only, Vaikhari Vak only is popularly, usually known, understood. We are familiar with the last Vaikhari only. But this speech has 3 other forms, inner forms, which are inside our body, inside our heart. They are Para, Pasyanti, and Madhyama. They are hidden inside our body, near the heart, or in the different parts of the body, till it gets the form of the Vaikhari or outward speech. Among them, the most secret and sacred form is Paravak, which is Shuddha Vidya Tattvam, which has the form of Prakasha, and which has the form of Shabda Artha Advaita, and which remains hidden underneath the earth part of the body. So this Paravak is being worshipped, Shuddha Vidya Tattvam is being worshipped on all the days of Navaratri in different forms. Another concept of this Saraswati is Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini. Goddess Vidya, Goddess Saraswati is the embodiment of 3 aspects or 3 activities: Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Ichha Shakti means the power of determination, power of conceiving, power of determination, power of thinking about high ideals. Ichha Shakti. Then next is Jnana Shakti. Ichha Shakti, the power of determination to vision great things and the highest things in our field of action, in our field of academics, whatever is your field. You vision, you scheme the highest aspects, the highest level. That is Ichha, determination, Ichha Shakti. Jnana Shakti means the power to design the methods for making our vision practical. Design, planning, jnana. With our knowledge, we plan the highest ideals, visions that we have in our mind, that we conceive in our mind. Jnana Shakti, planning. And Kriya Shakti means Kriya, action. Actually, the methods for making our visions practical methods. So, Goddess Saraswati concept, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Vision, planning, then bringing that into the practical side by practically make it as a part of life. The third and the most important one is Kriya Shakti, the power to bring the plans and the visions to the practical side. Normally, we will have high visions and planning also. All of us will have high visions and planning also to a great extent, but where we meet failure, when we try to make them practical, we meet the point of failure in our practical side. We will decide to work hardly, more 8 hours or 10 hours, at least a day, to realize our vision. We will have visions, but we will usually not be able to bring them to the practical side. That is the third aspect is most important, Kriya Shakti. All the three are very important, and the most important is Ichha Shakti and Kriya Shakti. So, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini. The prayer is that we should have all the three aspects with equal vigor. Ichha, vision, Jnana, planning, and Kriya, power of execution, to realize our highest ideal related to whatever field we have, dancing or theater or science or technology or whatever may be. We should have all the three powers conjoined, together synthesized. This is particularly important related to the field of dance and theater. So we have to pray. We have to determine in our mind. We have to have a determination for the synthesis or the conjoining of all the three aspects in our field of academics to have a advance, to have a progress in our particular field. Another salient aspect of Navaratri concept is the ideal of Guru or Acharya. Guru or Acharya. Tasmai Gurave Nama. In the beginning, I have recited the prayer Sadashiva Samarambham Shankara Acharya Madhyamam Asmad Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parampara. Yaska, one of the famous rishis of ancient India, and the author of the famous text Nirukta, one of the interpretative texts of Vedas, he has defined the word Acharya and its connotations in many ways. Acharam grahayati iti Acharya. Acharya is one who instructs us, all of us, the ways of pious and right living. Acharam, dharma, pious and right living. One who instructs us the way of dharma, pious and right living, he is Acharya. Another interpretation, connotation of the word is Achinoti Arthan idi Acharya. Acharya is one who gives us Arthan. Arthan means different dimensions of meanings of a word or a sentence or a context or a whole text. Achinoti Arthan. Acharya is one who gives us the knowledge of different dimensions of meanings of words and sentences or language or usage of whatever it may be. That includes performance also. Then another derivation, Achinoti Buddhim ityacharya. Acharya is one urges our intellect or urges, instigates, promotes our thinking or intellect, or widens the scope of our vision. Only Acharya, this only preceptor can do that. Induce the students to think highly, to expand their knowledge, to expand their vision, to expand their pratibha. That is called pratibha, jnanam, pratibha. In many words, the expansion of our vision, knowledge, intellect is explained in the various branches of philosophy in our tradition. So, achinoti buddhim. So, same word acharya is related to many aspects of the holistic development of the mind and the intellect of an individual. Acharya is one who promotes or instigates or urges our intellect or thinking, or widens the scope of our vision. Thus, the word guru or acharya is a great concept in our tradition, who induces or instigates all of us for our overall development in our life, conduct, academics, intellect, thinking, planning, vision, etc. The Navaratri is the context of praying our gurus to impart all these qualities in our lifestyle. The webinar organized along with the Navaratri festival by the Atmalaya Academy will be fruitful if all the sacred and secret ideals of the ritual Navaratri concept is made practical in our life, especially for those working in the field of performing arts. I will conclude my few words with a request to all artists and friends, particularly young artists and scholars who are present in the webinar. I know a number of disciples, students of Padmaja and others are attending the function. Now you see, we are in the context of, we are speaking in the context of theater, dance, different forms of dance, Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and Mohini, whatever it may be, and theater in general. You see the great basic text Natya Shastra of Bharata with its commentary, the very famous commentary by the great Shaiva Advaita Guru of Kashmir, who is the exponent of Pratyabhijna philosophy of Kashmir Shaivism, Abhinavagupta. This Natya Shastra with the commentary of Abhinavagupta, all artists, performers, theorists below who are attached to the theater field, dance field, performance field, it is a necessary thing that they should have a preliminary, primary knowledge of this text. Of course, many other texts in Sanskrit and other languages have been written after Natya Shastra in the post centuries, after centuries. Like so many texts, but the base is Natya Shastra, 36 chapters, more than 6,000 verses, and all aspects of Natya, Abhinaya, Nritta, Sangeeta, Vadya, stage, all things are discussed in Natya Shastra. Basically, the text written in 2nd century BC or 1st century AD, and after 1,000 years, the commentary written by Srimad Abhinavagupta in the 10th century AD. Now, this is actually the base. All our regional art forms, classical art forms that developed in the centuries after Bharata in different parts of India, which are even now very well accepted by the whole world. Now, the artists are, some are from California, some are from other places. Now, for this acceptance, the real base of this acceptance is the classical and aesthetic foundation of our art forms. And for understanding the real base of all these things, we should have the primary knowledge, at least, of Natyashastra and the principles described in Natyashastra related to different aspects: rasa, bhava, abhinaya, dharmi, vritti, pravritti, siddhi, swaras, tatha, tobyam, ganam, rangascha, ekadasha, natyangani. Now, I will only give one example. The fourth chapter of Natyashastra is called Tandava Lakshanam. You see, a very important chapter. More than 300 tarigas are there in Tandava Lakshanam. And actually, the word Tandava in Natyashastra means the dance movements in general. Only later, the word was confined to Uddhata Nirtam and Lasya confined to Sukumara Nirtam. In Natyashastra, Tandava is referred to in the fourth chapter, Tandava Lakshanam, as dance forms in general. Tandu, one of the attendants of Shiva, was instructed by Shiva to employ different kinds of movements in Natya. And Tandu instructed the movements, so it is called Tandava, Tandava in general. And you see all aspects of the graceful movements in Natya: Angaharas, Karanas, Rejakas, Pindi Bandhas. All these are generally discussed in the fourth chapter. So their Tandava means generally different kinds of movements of the body and limbs that are presented in the art forms, dance forms. Rejakas, Angaharas, Karanas, and last Pindi Bandhas. So all these are described in other chapters elaborately. So a very general, a very basic knowledge of Natyashastra and Abhinava Bharati and Saidhantika texts, theoretical texts of dance forms are necessary, and I wish that the great performers and scholars, you will be getting more self-confidence and delight. You are great performers. You can conquer the world with your performance. I am very happy. But if you have the faculty of this theoretical knowledge also, you will be more delighted. You will have more confidence. And I wish all of you will work in that way also and highlight the great tradition of India to the world, and the Atmalaya Academy will have more bright future in this way, doing research and acquiring knowledge in the future. Thank you very much. I am very happy to be part of this webinar again and again. Namaskara.
Meenal, you're on mute. Meenal, can you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry. The next artist that we have is Prabjot Kulkarni ji. She is a former principal and PhD in education from University of Delhi with career guidance and development. She has postdoctoral research in the use of drama in education in classroom practices. She has been engaged in integral education in mainstream for self-empowerment of teachers and has also written and directed various plays for children. She has held different posts in academic and professional bodies of Delhi University, Punjabi Academy, Bhai Veer Singh Sahitya Sadan. Presently, she is associated with Indus Quality Foundation, Forum for Restoration of National Values, Sri Aurobindo Foundation for Indian Cultural and Sri Aurobindo Society. She is still on the path of learning and is a lifelong learner.
Is Prabhajyoti ready, Minal?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Namaskar. Thank you very much, Dr. Padmaja Suresh, for organizing this program and giving me a chance to share some of my life experiences with you all. Thank you, Meenal, also, and many others who have been a part of this program. Actually, to tell you the truth, I'm not here to give a lecture or a talk exactly on the integral philosophy or integral approach to yoga. I'm here only to share a very few things about integral yoga. In fact, my turning came to Sri Aurobindo because of my discipline, education. There was a lot of restlessness and unrest inside me for many years. And I had withdrawn totally from academic world in a sense. I would not attend conferences. I would not go for seminars and other events, thinking that nothing is going to change. And this gave me a lot of disgust also. And I used to be very angry with the system. And one day I found when I had given up everything, then one fine morning, a professor friend of mine, he called me up to say that there is going to be a conference, come workshop on education, on the ideas of Sri Aurobindo. Please go and attend. I said, nothing doing. Nothing changes in this world. Nothing changes in our education system. And I'm fed up. So he insisted. He said, no, I have recommended your name and please don't let me feel down and don't, embarrass me that way. So as a friend, I honored him and I went. I attended and nobody will believe. The moment I entered that place, it was in the basement of somebody's house in South Delhi. The moment I entered, I don't know what happened. Suddenly, there was some kind of settlement inside, and immediately a thought came and just came, just as the lightning spark, and said that, yes, you belong to this place. You belong to me. Come, most welcome. So that's how, I started reading, understanding, and practicing Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. His works are immense and they are very, very seriously written, all drawn from a very higher plane of consciousness. During that time, when I was turning, I realized that everyone seeks happiness. In this world, everyone wants delight, joy, happiness. And I very easily relate to a very small, simple story. All of you must have read about that landlord who was perfect in all his ways, in all his dealings, in all his works, and everything, whatever he wanted in life, he had made his life perfect. Yet on times he used to feel very unhappy, at times he used to feel something missing in him. And he used to tell himself that I am still not happy, though everything is fine outwardly. And one day he thought, let me now do something which is opposite of what I was doing before. And one evening, he decided to leave everything. And he packed up a few things in his small bag, and he left in the middle of the night without telling anyone where he's going. He thought, now I will lead a life which is contrary to what I was, following, what I was doing before. And while traveling, leaving the cities and leaving everything behind, he reached a place where he found total greenery, fields, openness, and a small village in the valley. And he thought that this would be an ideal place for him to live. And he went at the hilltop. For the first time in his life, he built a small hut for himself. And while he was building that hut, he was feeling very happy. He was feeling very joyful. And after making that, after the construction of the hut, he started living there. Days were passing and he was feeling happy there, all alone. And sometimes, he would just stand at the hilltop, gauge around and look at the valley, the village and the greenery around. Now the monsoons came. And when the monsoons came, a big storm came. With this storm, his hut started shaking. And one after the other, the small things in the hut, they started disappearing. He was helpless. He cried for help. And then for the first time in his life, he prayed. He called, God, look, my hut is going away. I don't have any place to live. Are you not going to save me? Still, the storm increased and it increased. Nothing happened. And then suddenly he said, okay, this is your hut. You take it away. Do whatever you want. And then he did not know what happened to him. And everything had gone by that time. When he opened his eyes, he saw that he was at a different place and he was surrounded by many strangers. He could not make out first where he was. Gradually, he picked up his consciousness and he got to know that when the storm was troubling, everything had gone, he had fainted, and these were the villagers who brought him down and they served him food and shelter, and they were full of hospitality. So this man said, I want to go back. So the villagers insisted, no, you can't go. You stay here for 1 month at least because you are very weak. We can't spare you like this. We can't allow you to move. So this man, he obeyed and he stayed there. Then one day, all the villagers, all of them, they took out a procession and with great joy, they took him to his hut. To his surprise, to his great, shock, a pleasant shock, he saw that instead of the hut, there was a big, not very big, a moderate pakka, a very nice, strong house. And inside, there was a shrine. A lamp was lit there. So the story actually depicts our seeking, our search. The soul is there, which is the whole soul, property of the divine. The divine dwells there. All of us are yearning for that. All of us are searching the soul. So I relate many a times to this story, and this is a favorite of mine. And this gives a clear picture about what Sri Aurobindo had propounded. In 1972, the mother, the spiritual collaborator of Sri Aurobindo, who had come from France, she made a declaration, which I will read. Man is the creation of yesterday. Sri Aurobindo came to announce the creation of tomorrow, the coming of the supramental being. Sri Aurobindo's message is an immortal sunlight radiating over the future. What is this supramental age or the supramental being? According to Sri Aurobindo, man has gone to the maximum to achieve in terms of mental perfection. Man has achieved that height, but man in the process of evolution has also the possibility of transcending beyond the mind, which is the supermind, and which he practiced. Everybody knows that he was born as Sri Aurobindo Ghosh in a Bengali family, and he was given education abroad. And when he came back, he went into national movement. He struggled, he endured for national freedom. And it was after his 1 year jail in Alipur, he was kind of ordained by the divine to go down to Pondicherry and live there. Because by the time he realized, he was knowing that the true purpose of my coming to India is not just getting the freedom to the nation, but it is beyond that. And that's how the journey of Sri Aurobindo as a sage or as a philosopher, though before that also during his days of national movement, he used to talk, he used to give his decisions in a very, very spiritual manner. So Pondicherry became his cave of tapasya. And here he had experimented, he had written many things. And this was the place where the mother also met him for the first time in 1914 when she came to do canvassing for her husband. And then she had to go back, and finally she arrived in 1920. This year, on 24th of April 2020, we celebrated her centenary of the final arrival to India. So coming back to integral philosophy or the integral yoga. For Sri Aurobindo, actually everything in life has to be accepted. He says all life is yoga because he doesn't want to negate the worldly life. He doesn't want to reject that as many others have done before. And yoga is, now all life is yoga when he says that means all is complete, whole. Whole would mean the whole of life comprising of whole of the personality involved in doing that. And the union with the divine, the self is seeking the divine, the small s is seeking the big S, the supreme, the divine. So in this process, the person goes through various stages of change, various stages of consciousness, and then, final transformation comes. He says yoga is nothing but practical psychology. So we have to do everything and anything in a very conscious way throughout the day, all 24/7, though it is very difficult. But in one way, I would say that it's a very simple thing which he has given to us. Why simple? We don't have to leave our homes. We don't have to leave our work. We don't have to leave anything what we are interested in, because that also is yoga. Through dance, you are perfecting yourself. You are trying to seek the divine. Through music, through art, through teaching. Like I told you, my turning came through education. when I found that his educational philosophy is totally concrete, totally full, totally wholesome, totally convincing, and is giving us perfection. So that is what man is wanting. That is what man is seeking. So in this world, when we have come here, we must understand what is the true purpose of my life? What is my aim? What is the true purpose of my existence here? Why am I here for? Only to work, to earn money, to express myself, or to gain wealth, recognition, all these things. These are all outer kind of ambitions or desires or attitudes, we can say. Our attitude towards others, it becomes good or bad, male or female, like that. We have to look at the other person and oneself also. To myself also, I have to look as a person, as a complete person, that I am not just made up of this body or these emotions, these sensations, this mind, these ideas, but something beyond, because that beyond is the soul. He gave the word, the term psychic. Actually, Sri Aurobindo had coined many, many words, and they have a very particular and a very significant meaning. The psychic is the seat of the divine. That is the true self in all of us. But that is covered and hidden by these three thick layers of body, vital, mind. Body means physical, this whole body. Vital is the seat of desires, the sensations, but at the same time, energies of action, enthusiasm. Mind is the place, mind is that part of our whole personality which creates ideas, has the power of discrimination, has different faculties like the memory, the imagination, intuition, analysis, reasoning. All these are different faculties. Now, these three things are comprising the outer personality: the body, vital, mind. Physical, vital, or the life, mind. These three are the outer parts of our personality. Now, what is the inner part then? The inner part, widely termed as the soul by many people, is actually the psychic, the true self, and spiritual. Our idea, our goal in integral yoga is to open to the divine, open the psychic in such a way that it comes and rules over the whole instrument, over the whole being. It becomes the master, it becomes the commander of the whole ship which we are carrying. So how does it happen? The whole yoga actually revolves around this. The whole yoga is actually dealing with how to bring the psychic in front and allow the psychic to rule all parts of our being, so that the outer life becomes full of divinity. The outer gets reflected by the inner. So this whole process of psychicization takes place when we have a burning aspiration. This fire has to be burning all the time. Why we place an agarbatti before the idol, or before the samadhi, or before the picture of our Ishtadevata. That is symbolically representing the aspiration of the soul, seeking the divine. So that aspiration needs to be burning all the time. More the aspiration, more the surrender will come. Now, this is the time of Navratri, and Sri Aurobindo had written a very small book, very tiny little book called The Mother, because somebody had asked him in the initial stages of his stay in Pondicherry, who is she when the mother joined? Who is she? So then he came out with this small book. This book talks about the integral yoga in a very, very summarized form, in a very, very short form, but fully it explains it fully. So here he says right in the beginning only. I'll read out. In the beginning, actually, what he says, three things are essential: the aspiration, the rejection, and the surrender. Aspiration is the unfailing will to go to the divine. Rejection of all those lower movements, rejection of all that is coming in my way of reaching the divine, of uniting the divine, or during this whole process, whether it is in my nature or in the outside world. Surrender, as you know, is to be Sharanagat. How to, offer myself, how to be with the divine, how to offer myself to the divine is also a very big task. This is a big, big challenge, how to surrender. He says, the personal effort required is a triple labor of aspiration, rejection, and surrender. An aspiration, vigilant, constant, unceasing, the mind's will, the heart seeking, the ascent of the vital being, the will to open and make the plastic. The will to open and make plastic the physical consciousness and nature. So much of plasticity is needed in our nature, which we as human beings fail to do. And the mother has given many beautiful spiritual exercises to practice in day-to-day life. That's why I say, many things are simple here. It's a simple yoga, yet difficult. Rejection of the movements of the lower nature, rejection of the mind's ideas, opinions, preferences, habits, constructions, so that the true knowledge may find free room in a silent mind. Silence is very necessary. If some of you have gone to Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Pondicherry, I'm sure many of you must have gone, being in the south. It's so close to you. So you must have seen that there is an immense silence in the ashram. And it gives you a lot of calmness, stillness, peace, insight, the moment you are in that atmosphere. Rejection of the vital nature's desires, demands, cravings, sensations, passions, selfishness, pride, arrogance, lust, greed, jealousy, envy, hostility to the truth, so that the true power and joy may pour from above into a calm, large, strong, and consecrated vital being. Rejection of the physical nature's stupidity, doubt, disbelief, obscurity, obstinacy, pettiness, laziness, unwillingness to change, tamas, so that the true stability of light, power, ananda, may establish itself in a body growing always more divine. Surrender of oneself and all one is and has, and every plane of the consciousness. All these three in the outer and the two inside parts, they have their corresponding consciousness. And at all the planes of consciousness, we have to surrender. And every plane of the consciousness and every movement to the divine and the Shakti. This is such a small passage which I have read from the tiny little book, The Mother. So these are the three conditions. So how we start our integral yoga, it becomes difficult, sometimes. From where do I start? From where? So it starts with the self-observation, looking at oneself, every day reflecting on one's movements, reflecting on one's conduct during the whole day, how, we have conducted ourselves in day-to-day life, observing all the parts of my being, my body, my vital, my mind, and noting them down every day. And then trying to recognize the mistakes and the weaknesses I have done. Also the lights which I have gained, the strengths I have gained. There is no harm in, noting down that here I have done well today, and in this area I have not been able to perform, but I will not be repeating my mistake. Starting with this intense self-observation, we come to self-awareness, and from self-awareness to self-control, and finally self-mastery. The best part is to work on our nature in the beginning. After establishing silence, one has to practice, because as Sri Aurobindo says, yoga is nothing but practical psychology, and it happens in our day-to-day life. So many things, so many thoughts, so many feelings, so many actions, and so much is happening. But how we can be vigilant of ourselves, how can we be conscious of our psychic, that we are carrying the spark of the divine inside, and that divine has to get reflected in all areas, in all parts of our being, in whatever we do outside in the world. So this is a very simple way of presenting Sri Aurobindo's so-called difficult and tough psychology and philosophy. You can read more later on because time is too short. I've been asked to restrict myself only to 10 minutes. I conclude here with a small piece from the Durga Srotra. Sri Aurobindo had written originally in Bangla. I won't read the full. I will read only a small portion, which I find it so relevant even today, and we can invoke Mother Goddess through this. Mother Durga, India lies low in selfishness and fearfulness and littleness. Make us great. Make our efforts great. Our hearts vast. Make us true to our resolve. May we no longer desire the small, void of energy, given to laziness, stricken with fear. Mother Durga, extend wide the power of yoga. We are the Aryan children. Develop in us again the lost teaching, character, strength of intelligence, faith and devotion, force of austerity, power of chastity, and true knowledge. Bestow all that upon the world to help mankind appear. O Mother of the world, dispel all ills. Mother Durga, when we possess thee, we shall no longer cast thee away. We shall bind thee to us with the tie of love and devotion. Come, Mother, manifest thyself in our mind and life and body. Come, revealer of the hero path, we shall no longer cast thee away. May our entire life become a ceaseless worship of the Mother, all our acts a continuous service to the Mother, full of love, full of energy. This is our prayer. O Mother, descend upon earth, make thyself manifest in this land of India. Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame. Om. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your great words. Next, we have Srimati Swagata Sen Pillai performing. She would be doing an excerpt from Vishwatmika, an exploration of the Dasha Mahavidya from a Kinkini Dhwani Institute of Performing Arts presentation.
Any words about Swagata ji? Please read out her brief, Meenal. We have to respect to all our artists. Don't you have?
Yes, ma'am. She will introduce herself.
Okay, she'll do it. Right. Okay. Thank you.
I will introduce the concept. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. And of course, the concept itself is so beautiful and such wonderful lineup of artists that you've had. I've been listening, fascinated from the morning. The Dasha Mahavidya, as Padmajaji requested me to do a little excerpt from that, it has been one of my dearest productions, because the exploration of the Dasha Mahavidya is not really done with all the Mahavidyas. People speak of them, but don't really go into depth over them. And ours is a 2.5-hour long dance drama, so obviously that cannot be shared here. What I have decided to do is the invocation. Now in Dashama, in Africa, I used multiple languages, and because primarily the Dashamahavidya have been spoken of in the East, and there are songs, kirtanams that are 700, 800, 900 years old in Bangla in praise of all of the Dashamahavidyas. We have chosen to actually include that along with the shlokas and the bij mantras and all of that that we used in the dance drama. So what we will be doing is I will, on the live platform, be doing a short, the introductory invocation of the Pada through the chakras to move into the Sahasrara. And that is what we started, the invocation of the Dasha Mahavidya after Shiva's introduction to Parvati of her incarnations. And then I will show from the recording of the dance small of the two Mahavidyas that are least expressed when the Dasha Mahavidyas are explored, Chinnamasta and Bhumavati. And I think we should be done in the time that I have been given, maybe a minute over. So please bear with me for that. I will begin with Jaguma Kula Kundalini, which by itself, I mean, though it's in Bangla, these words I think are understandable by everybody. If you give me permission to share the music online, I will share it through the computer.
You have been given the share option, so you could please go ahead and share, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
अलक्ष्य विद्या महामाया अनंत करुणामयी जननी ही कुलक जननी है। साधकों की दृष्टि भेद वह कभी काली कभी त्रिपुरेश्वरी है। वही है महाकाल के वक्षस्थल पर नृत्य बरा, काल को निगल जाने वाली काली। जीव कैवल्य प्राप्त करता है उसी काली के ध्यान में।
Now, Chinnamasta, as I said, is one of the manifestations that has rarely been discussed or portrayed, primarily because she is supposed to be not an aradhya of a sansari, somebody who's a garhastha, and therefore rarely shown. But she's supposed to be the compassionate one. She's supposed to be the one who gives up for those who depend on her. And as such, we thought that it was essential when we were doing Dashamahavidya to portray. So I'm just going to share the screen with the Chinnamasta visual.
अहम को निकालना सीखेगा मनुष्य जननी को देखकर, तभी मुक्ति मिलेगी। और इसी वजह से माँ भयंकरी छिन्नमस्ता है।
And from here, we shall move on to the depiction of Dhumavati. Again, Dhumavati is the only one of the Dasha Mahavidyas who's without a consort because she's supposed to be the Vidhava. And yet, while she appears the most fierce, she's also known as Kshemankari, the one who gives absolute salvation. And we shall just see a glimpse of Dhumavati.
स्वरूप में प्रतिष्ठित करना, इसी से तो इतराता है मनुष्य, और अमुक्त जीव की घोर परिणति ही दिखाता है माँ का धूमावती रूप। इस घोर रूप से मनुष्य सचेत होकर फिर चल पड़ेगा सत्य एवं मुक्ति की ओर। धूमावती रूप में भयंकरी होते हुए भी तभी तो माँ हमेशा क्षेमंकरी है।
So that was the depiction of Dhumavati, who rides the chariot and holds the winnow so that she can segregate the evil and let her bhaktas just get the unfettered goodness. Thank you so much for having me here, Padmajaji, and I wish Atmalaya strength after strength so that you may be able to do more and more of this wonderful work that you're doing, bringing together so much knowledge on a single platform and sharing with so many people. It's not an easy task, and you're doing such a wonderful job of it. I have to say that your entire team and you are blessed, and we are blessed to be associated with you. Thank you so much for making me a part of this journey.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a beautiful performance. Our next speaker, Yamuna ji, is unable to join us currently due to a power outage in Chennai. We'll move on to our next performance by Dr. Aarti Jagan.
And that will be the last performance of today's event. So I'm sure After that, we can look forward to all of the audience and more people joining us the subsequent weekend. Yes, a few words about Aarti.
Dr. Aarti Jagan is a student of Atmalya School of Dance under Dr. Padmaja Suresh, performer of a high caliber and having performed all over India, both as a solo artist and in the school's performances.
Dr. Aarti is also a mental health professional, and she's been working on dance therapy along with Atmalya, serving a lot of institutions. At the moment, she serves the Nimhans, the world famous Nimhans group. Anything else about the dance number, Vijay Lakshmi, to mention?
Aarti Akka would be introducing that.
Yeah?
Can everybody mute your speakers, please? The audience, thank you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see
I am
the video.
unable to hear, that's why.
No, we can't see your video though. We are able to hear you.
Can you type? I'm not able to hear. Great. If you can hear me, that's perfectly all right. I'll go ahead. Thank you so much. I'm not able to hear you, but am I clear? Can you please type? Am I clear?
Is that Aarti? Who's talking? Is that
I'll
Aarti?
switch on my camera. I'll switch on my camera.
Yes, please. Yes, fine. We can start the performance. Thank you.
Namaskar and pranam. I am unable to hear you clearly, but I hope you can hear me. My pranams to my gurus, Dr. Padmaja Suresh and Guru Vasant Kumarji, who both are here, and I'm extremely fortunate. I would just request my colleagues to keep typing on the chat to tell me whether they can hear me, because I'm unable to hear you suddenly. I will continue. I will be performing the Margai Tingal, which is a part of the Thirupavai, a Tamil devotional poem attributed to female Saint Andal. It is a part of the Divya Prabandha, a collection of works of the 12 Alvas that is an important part of the devotional Tamil literature. Margai Tingal, the item that I will perform, depicts the holy month of Margai Masam, that is the Margai month, where Saint Andal gets up excitedly and wants to wake up everybody so that they can cleanse themselves and then go and worship her Lord Narayana. She calls people to recite his name and the glories of the Lord. Margai Tingal, I will be performing as of now. Thank you. I'll just switch on the music. I would request my colleagues to tell me again whether you're able to hear me. Thank you. Just hold on. Is it audible? Can you please text? Can you hear the music? Thank you so much. I will continue. Thank you to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aarti. And if it's possible, can we see Vasant Kumar Master on his video today? We'll be very grateful, Vasant Master. On video on Panidringla. It's been a long time since even I got to see Vasant Kumar sir. I can see his name here. So yesterday we had Masterji and Maithili Mami, and today we are so fortunate that Karanambal teacher is being represented by her son, Vasan sir, and we are blessed to have the Rajarajeshwari family watching the performances and blessing us. Atmalaya, a child which has sprung out of the Rajarajeshwari mother. Vasant Master, Romba Nandri, thank you so much. We are so happy. Rendu vaarte pesarela, Vasant Master, and bless us. And we look forward to the next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, when we have a lot more of performances and talks by a lot of scholars and also ritualists ritualistic worshippers, and we request everyone to come again and encourage this initiative. And Masad Master, please rendu vaarthai pesungo. Thank you. கேக்கலே வசந்த் மாஸ்டர் அன்மியூட் பண்ணிடுங்க.
Okay. Romba, and the entire event was fantastic, and
சார் உட்கார்ந்து பேசுங்க. ஒரு இடத்துல உட்காருங்க சார். Thank you sir. ஒரு இடத்துல உட்கார்ந்து பேசுங்க. Okay, thank you sir.
Okay. The event was very fantastic. There are no words. It's not an easy job to set up a program like this and to bring artists from all over India. It's a very difficult task, which you have taken with too much of pain. I must certainly congratulate you, and let God give you enough strength to continue the same thing in your future life also, and continue your dance and propagate this ancient art worldwide. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak.
Thank you very much, sir. Namaskaram. Thank you so much.
Namaskaram.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to today's anchors, Minal and Vijay Lakshmi, and hope to come back to meet every one of you. Happy Navaratri again. So we'll be meeting on the Ashtami Tithi and the Navami, the last 2 days of Navaratri, the next Saturday and Sunday, again at 9:30, and hopefully we should also complete all the programs within the time frame. Thank you so much for being so patient. Namaskaram. The meeting is called off. Thank you.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram, Padmaja.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.